Do you ever wish that the Lord still spoke today? Like, do you want Him to speak to you? Do you wish that He'd speak to you clearly? Beyond a shadow of a doubt that you knew you'd heard from God. Have you ever had that happen to you? And if not, would you like Him to? I know I would. I want to tell you about the first time that the Lord ever spoke to me. The first time that I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the Lord spoke to me. And it changed me forever. In the year 2000, I went on a mission trip to Guatemala, and after spending about 3 days in the picturesque city of Antigua, Guatemala, we set off for the mountains and the tribal Ixile area of northern Guatemala to go and preach the gospel to a very remote group of people. As we were making the almost 13-hour journey across the mountains of Guatemala, as I looked out over the valleys and the mountains, I had a thought come across my mind. What on earth am I doing here? I was 20, single, and from a middle-class family. All of my friends, so many people that I knew from college, were back at home in the States, going to school or having part-time summer jobs and partying and living it up, doing what young people do during the summers. And here I was, driving across dirt roads in the most remote place I'd ever imagined in my entire life. Why was I here? How did I get here? What on earth was I thinking? Why on earth wasn't I off doing what every other college kid does during the summer? The part of Guatemala I went to, they don't have things. It was the poorest place I'd ever been. It was beyond imagination. They had a 60% infant mortality rate. That meant that 60% of their children died before they reached their 5th birthday. That's poverty, like I wasn't used to. Questioned, what am I even doing here? Why would I be in a place like this? What can I do? I didn't know what kind of a difference a person like me could make in a place like that. One of the missionaries with us, he had traveled all throughout Africa, and he said he never found a place as remote and poor as the Ixile area of Guatemala. And I have to believe him. So I kept asking, what am I doing here? Why am I here? What can I do? Why am I not off with my college friends, doing all of the things that my college friends are doing this summer? Right then, I heard a voice speak to me, crystal clear, that I knew wasn't me. I knew it was the Lord. He said, "You're here because these are the people I love." Our long journey ended through the mountains as we reached the village at the end of the road. As all 20 of us piled out of the chicken bus, as they called it, and grabbed our backpacks, a local pastor who was going to be our guide met us there, a man named Pablo. He said, "Some of you are wondering why you're here. Some of you are wondering why you're not back home with your friends in the United States having fun this summer, but instead you're here with us." He said, "I want to tell you why you're here. You're here because these are the people God loves." I felt like I'd heard from the Lord when I heard those words myself. But when I heard them from Pablo, first in Spanish and then translated into English, I knew that I had heard from the Lord. Because I knew that we had heard those words from the same source. Because in the hour between when I had heard that and when Pablo spoke, I hadn't told a soul. I knew that the only person who could have given both of us those words was the Lord. And that deeply, deeply impacted me. If you want to hear the Lord for yourself like that, if you want God encounters like that, I encourage you to begin asking Him every single day for them. Set a reminder on your phone, schedule a time during the day to pray and ask the Lord for God encounters, for Him to speak to you, so that you would know Him and know and have confidence that He loves you and speaks to you. I know that He will. It may take time, but I know He'll speak to you. And over time, the Lord will give you your own God encounters that will change your life, just like they have mine. Until then, I'll see you next time.